Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is Rabbi Stephen, Rav Shmuel ben Yehoshua. Rosh be with you. Hope you like the little outfit. Kind of getting into these suspenders, it's kind of neat. So yeah, every once in a while. So there it is. Okay, tilt this down a little bit. Okay, so this week we have Parashat Vayera. Let me kind of interject a little bit. So I don't like to get political. I just don't believe it. I believe in it. Different people have different ideas, and I respect them all. I do. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever else you do, I think that that's up to you. And I'm a big believer in diversity. I think that's how things get done. When you bring different people in with different ideas and they all get together and brainstorm, which is what I think we ought to be doing as a people, as a human race, then, we all gain. We all gain. That's the way it is. And I think you'll all agree with that. Having said that, are some things that I'm very passionate about, as those of you that follow me and see me doing my services and my sermons have seen. And as you know, I'm very, very passionate about Israel. I believe if you're Jewish, and even if you're not, you should be supporting Israel. Israel is a beacon of democracy. Israel does its best to be fair and just. We are guided by divine principles, the Torah, and, not that we're perfect, nobody is perfect. And by the way, I hate excusing that. Why do we have to say, well, Israel's not perfect? No, we're not. No, nobody is. But why do we have to say it? Because we're held to a higher standard. This is the reason that people give why Jews why we get focused on a lot, because we're God's people. We made that covenant with God. Everybody else, all you other people, you got seven commandments, the Noahide commandments. We got 613. So we're held to a higher standard. We have to behave. We have to show people the way. That's what we're supposed to do. So when people go on about different things that Jews do or don't do, I feel like, okay, I get it. We're held to higher standards, but let's be fair about it. Okay. So what am I getting at? I saw an article today in the Jewish Telegraphic Agency. I get their daily email. It's Jewish news and things about how 350 rabbis or so signed a letter calling for Zohan Mamdani, who was running for mayor of New York, to not run, or they're not supporting him. And the reason they're not supporting him is because he has made comments about globalizing the intifada. He has not taken that back. He believes in, I guess, the BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction. The point is, if you are going to be a mayor of a city that has the second largest population of Jews in the world, and even if you're not, how can you demean Jews for standing up for who we are? I don't get it, unless there's some feeling you have against Jews. So, and I would say this about anybody running for any office. I believe that. So I support Israel. I do. And I think that Mandani, you need to support Israel. And you've come out with words that suggest that you do not. And you don't suggest, and you don't support Jews. And you don't support the fact that Jews are being bullied. That's the word. We can say oppressed, what they're doing on college campuses, but the bottom line is we're being bullied as a people. We're being singled out. And now that there's a ceasefire in the Middle East, where's all the celebrating? Okay. So that's kind of how I feel. And it bothers me that there are Jews that are not questioning that. So I did not sign the letter because I never saw it. Had I seen it, I would have signed it. I did not see it. I did not sign it. Okay. But consider this to be a signature. Okay. So that's my rant for this week. Take it as you may. But let's segue that into this week's Parsha Vayera. So we have Abraham. And you'll see that this is a little early, by the way, because I'm going out of town. I'm going on a vacation. And I like to get ahead of myself. I'm OCD that way. So here's Abraham. He just got circumcised, and he is Abraham now. He's been named Abraham. With the circumcision, he got a Hebrew name. Hebrew names are very special. They don't just talk to who you are, it talks to what you are and how you are. It talks to your essence. There's a big lot of spirituality in your name. My name, Shmuel. Shmuel, his name is God. That's one interpretation. Yismol, on the right side of mercy. That's another interpretation. I was told by a rabbi when I was 14, many moons ago, that with my name and who I am, I'm very spiritual, and here I am a rabbi, right? So it's a very important name. And Abraham is now the father of a multitude of nations. This is his spirituality. This is his spirituality. This is speaking to his essence now that he has been circumcised and he's what we would today call a Jew, the first one. So when three men who are really angels in the skies of men, so that they can actually communicate with Abraham, one of them, one angel, one message, tells him that God is going to destroy Sodom, Gomorrah, and gosh, I'm at a loss to think of the other three cities: Zeboian, Zohar, and there was one more. Abraham, being now the father of a multitude of nations, is concerned about his quote unquote children. So he bargains with God. Once the angels take God, it's like, you're divine. You believe in justice. What if there are, in all those cities, there are 50 righteous people? Will you save those cities if there are 50 righteous people? God's like, yeah, I'll save them. And Abraham's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm on a roll here. How about if there's five less than those 50? Would you save those cities for 45 people? God's like, yes, I will save them for, oh, well, hey, as long as we're talking, how about 40? Finally, Abraham bargains him down. I'm going to avoid the obvious funny reference here, to 10. And God says, for 10 righteous people, I will not destroy them. Now, that's where we leave it. So did God feel, okay, I've done enough, I've given enough to Abraham? Or did Abraham feel, gosh, if we can't find 10 righteous people among 5 cities, that's pretty pathetic. Maybe they should be destroyed. So it really doesn't say yes or no to that. But let's take it for granted that 10's the minimum. Now, some of you might be thinking, 10's kind of an interesting number here. And that sounds like the amount of people we need for a minyan, right? To read the Torah, to do the Kaddish, to do certain other prayers, to repeat the Amidah. This is one of the places we get it from. We also get it from 10's an important number, 10 Commandments, 10 Trials of Abraham. So we see that that's kind of an important number, and that's how that relates to this. So 10 righteous people in order for these cities to not be saved. And of course, there aren't. And the cities get destroyed. How does this relate to modern times? And I'm kind of thinking out loud here. Because, again, I believe Torah is timeless. Interestingly enough, there was an article I was just reading saying that they've looked at the Dead Sea Scrolls. They've used ultraviolet and some other techniques, and now they're seeing some scribblings. That maybe this wasn't just a one-all document. Maybe there were additions, subtractions. Maybe it's later than we thought it was. Maybe it's not the engraved in stone document that it is. Point is, this is where we're at now. Okay, righteousness is very important to us as a people, and as Abraham did, so should we be pleading for people's mercy. Again, my name's Shmuel Yismol, the right hand of mercy, as opposed to the left hand of justice of God. So we should be merciful. But let's think of the fact that while we were considering mercy, God also followed through with his intent. There were not 10 righteous people there. The cities are hopeless. They got destroyed. Fire and brimstones, right? So what does that mean? It means that there is a point where we forgive. But there's another point where you don't just get it. You have to earn it. You have to work for it. If you want to be forgiven, you need to show some righteousness. And this is the way our world is. This is the way it should be. Okay. And it's not a treatise against anything, it's just reality. How do you forgive somebody that doesn't care? You have to hold them accountable. And that's what God did. He held them accountable. Okay. So let's practice mercy, but let's be discerning with our mercy and our forgiveness. Shabbat Shalom.